Hey there, Internet Explorers. Buckle up because we're about to dive deep into the digital underground. We're talking about the dark web, the Internet's hidden underbelly. It's like Amazon, but with a whole lot more risk and a sprinkle of illegality. The dark web is a place where anonymity reigns supreme. It's a digital haven for those who value their privacy, those who want to communicate and share information without fear of censorship or surveillance. But it's also a breeding ground for criminal activity, a marketplace for everything from stolen data to illegal weapons. So is the dark web a force for good or evil? Well, the answer, like most things in life, is complicated. Let's be real, the dark web gets a bad rap. Hollywood loves to portray it as this den of cybercrime, a place where only criminals and hackers dare to tread. But the truth is, the dark web is much more than just a digital black market. It's a reflection of our own society with all its complexities and contradictions. On the dark web, you'll find journalists communicating with anonymous sources, whistleblowers exposing corruption, and activists organizing protests against oppressive regimes. So, before we delve deeper into this digital underbelly, let's leave our preconceived notions at the door. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What exactly is the dark web? Imagine the internet as a giant house party. You've got your main floor where everyone's hanging out, posting selfies, and sharing cat videos. That's your surface web. Now picture a hidden basement in this house, accessible only through a secret passage. This basement, my friends, is the dark web. To gain entry to this exclusive club, you need a special key, a piece of software called Tor, short for the onion router. Once you're in, you'll find that the dark web looks a lot like the early days of the internet. See, anonymity is the name of the game on the dark web. It's like everyone's wearing a digital mask, hiding their true identities behind layers of encryption and hidden IP addresses. For those living under oppressive regimes, journalists exposing corruption, or whistleblowers spilling the tea on shady corporations, anonymity can be a lifeline. But let's be real, anonymity also has a dark side. It's a double-edged sword, and in the wrong hands, it can be a powerful tool for criminal activity. The dark web provides a marketplace for these illicit goods and services, a digital black market where criminals can operate with relative impunity. Now, navigating the dark web isn't like strolling through your local park. It's more like venturing into a labyrinth, a maze of hidden pathways and dead ends. First off, you're going to need that special key we talked about, Tor. Think of it as your digital disguise, masking your online identity and making it much harder for anyone to track your movements. The dark web is crawling with cybercriminals, just waiting to pounce on unsuspecting users. So before you even think about venturing into the dark web, you need to make sure you're packing some serious cybersecurity heat. Remember those late night infomercials? The ones promising incredible deals on things you didn't know you needed? Well, the Silk Road market was kind of like that, but instead of ShamWows and Ginsu knives, they were peddling illegal drugs, fake passports, and hacking tools. Launched in 2011, Silk Road was the brainchild of Ross Ulbricht, a libertarian idealist who believed in a world without government interference. He built an empire on the dark web, a marketplace where anonymity reigned supreme, and anything was for sale for the right price. What made Silk Road so successful, aside from the whole no law enforcement thing, was its user-friendliness. It looked and felt like any other e-commerce site. You could browse through listings, read reviews, compare prices, and even leave feedback for your friendly neighborhood drug dealer. Of course, all good things must come to an end, especially when those good things involve massive amounts of illegal drugs and money laundering. Ulbricht, under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts, became a legend on the dark web. He was seen by some as a digital Robin Hood, a champion of individual liberty, sticking it to the man by creating a space free from government control. At its peak, Silk Road was generating millions of dollars in revenue, all transacted in Bitcoin. But Ulbricht's empire was built on a foundation of sand, and eventually the tide came in. The FBI, using a combination of old-fashioned detective work and cutting-edge cyber sleuthing, were able to track down Ulbricht, arresting him in a San Francisco library in 2013. Ulbricht's trial and subsequent life sentence sent shockwaves through the dark web, a stark reminder that anonymity is not a guarantee of immunity. The story of Silk Road is a cautionary tale, a reminder that the pursuit of absolute anonymity can come at a steep price. Ulbricht, in his quest to create a digital utopia free from government interference, ended up creating a monster. The dark web, for all its potential for good, remains a dangerous and unpredictable place. It's a digital Wild West, where the rules are few and far between, and the consequences can be severe. The allure of the dark web, the promise of anonymity and freedom from surveillance, can be tempting, but it's important to remember that with freedom comes responsibility. So, the next time you hear someone talking about the dark web, remember that it's not just a playground for criminals and hackers. Alright, let's talk about the good guys, or at least the not so bad guys of the dark web. We're talking about hacktivist groups like Anonymous, the digital vigilantes who lurk in the shadows, fighting for truth, justice, and a really good internet connection. Think of them as the digital Robin Hoods, taking from the corrupt and powerful and exposing their dirty laundry for the world to see. Anonymous is all about fighting censorship, exposing corruption, and generally sticking it to the man. They've gone after everyone from Scientology to ISIS, using their hacking skills to disrupt and expose what they see as injustice. Now, whether their methods are always legal or ethical is a whole other debate. Now, for all you thrill seekers out there, I know what you're thinking. This dark web sounds like my kind of party. Where do I sign up? But before you grab your digital passport and book a one-way ticket to the dark web, let me give you a little word of caution. It's not for the faint of heart. Navigating the dark web is like walking through a dangerous neighborhood at night. You never know who you're going to run into. And trust me, you don't want to be caught off guard. It's a digital minefield of malware, scams, and all sorts of nasty surprises that can ruin your day, steal your identity, and leave your devices begging for mercy. So, before you even think about venturing into the dark web, you need to ask yourself, am I feeling lucky? Alright, let's get serious for a minute. The dark web can be a dangerous place, and if you're not careful, you could end up getting burnt. First things first, you're going to need a good VPN. Think of it like a digital invisibility cloak, masking your IP address and making it much harder for anyone to track your online activity. Next up, you'll want to make sure your antivirus software is up to date. And finally, the most important rule of all, be careful what you click on. Okay, folks, let's talk about online security. I know, it's about as exciting as watching a paint dry, but trust me, it's way more important than you think, especially if you're even thinking about dipping your toes into the murky waters of the dark web. Think of your online security like you would Fort Knox. You wouldn't leave the doors unlocked and the gold bars lying around for anyone to grab, would you? No, you'd have guards, cameras, lasers, maybe even a shark tank or two, just to be safe. Well, your digital life deserves the same level of protection, especially in this day and age when cybercrime is about as common as a Kardashian selfie. We're talking strong passwords, two-factor authentication, and a healthy dose of paranoia, all essential tools in your digital security arsenal. Remember, the dark web is a playground for hackers and cyber criminals, all looking for easy targets. Don't be that target. Beef up your defenses. Lock down your data. And for crying out loud, don't use password 123 as your password. Let's talk passwords, people. They're the bane of our digital existence. But they're our first line of defense against cyber criminals. Ditch weak passwords like password 123. Think long, think strong, think random. Use a password manager to keep them safe and secure. The internet can be a dangerous place if you're not careful. It's like that dark alleyway you were warned about as a kid. But you can't avoid the internet altogether. Simple. Don't be a sitting duck. Cyber criminals are always on the lookout for easy targets. Keep your software updated. Be wary of suspicious emails. And remember, knowledge is power. Be smart. Be safe. So, we've journeyed into the depths of the digital underworld, explored the shadowy corners of the dark web, and emerged hopefully a little wiser and a lot more paranoid. The dark web is a paradox, a digital enigma, wrapped in a layer of encryption and hidden behind a veil of anonymity. It's a place where freedom and danger collide, where the best and worst of humanity coexist. The dark web is a reminder that the internet is not a utopia. It's not a digital paradise where everyone is equal. It's a reflection of the real world with all its complexities and dangers. It's a wild west where the rules are constantly changing. Navigating this digital frontier requires caution and awareness.